Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon, and I want to address a personal question that someone wrote me. This was on one of the last videos, and where did you go? Okay, Scott wrote in. Thank you, Scott. And he said, I have listened to a few of your presentations, and you speak of where God's peeps should go to be safe. Who did God tell this to, and why do you feel that people who are not already there are doomed? The reason I ask this is that my spouse is still working full-time, and she needs more from me than someone on the internet said so, quote-unquote. I watched your latest video. I could put this up here, maybe. Yeah, oh, that's much better. Yeah, cool. Okay. I watched your latest video about the fact that it takes more than just showing up on the last day and then need to develop all the necessary skills to provide. I hear you loud and clear, but I'm trying to mitigate those deficiencies by starting my own garden and getting some chickens. Was there something said to the person God relayed his message to that indicated that if I was not already in the Ozarks when his plan unfolds, then all is lost? And I'm going to read his other one just because it kind of a tag on there. I ask this with all due respect. She already thinks I'm crazy enough. Smiley face. Hallelujah. Yeah. And I think there might have been another one, but basically, you know, he said, where did you go? Well, what he meant was, and I replied in the video, you can read it down there. I got cut off abruptly, and that was because of normally, I'm lucky if this thing doesn't overheat, and if I don't run out of battery. Well, I got a brand new battery. I had a refrigerator before I started. But in that case, I ran out of memory, and that may happen tonight. So if I go boop, yeah, well, you'll know it was memory or heat, not battery though, because the battery's brand new. Okay, so hi Scott, I see his little picture there. You look about like me. People called me Big Guy, WKRP, when I was on the docks, you know. So I hear you. The thing about all I could say about the issue of your spouse working full-time and needs something more from me than someone on the internet said so, she already thinks I'm crazy enough. You know, join the party with probably 10 million other people around the country. Don't ask me why. I kind of have the personal theory that one of a family, two of a nation, you know, he'll bring them to Zion. When we had our business in 1999, Pilgrim's Products, and I'm going to set up a YouTube channel for that and try to see if we can beef that up. Jersey and I will use that as a sales thing because we had loyal customers. We had about 3,000, 2,000 to 3,000, somewhere in there. And that was back in the day when it was all just like hand stuff. I mean, we weren't online. Yeah. So anyway. Olden days. It was olden days. It was back in the old days. Yeah, back in '99. So anyway, sorry about that. The fact of the matter is, the thing I was trying to point out is that I kid you not, we talked to a lot of those people. We talked to some of them for hours. Everybody virtually said, I am the only person in my family, I'm the only person in my community, I'm the only person in my church. One of those three things. And they think I'm BSC. Bravo Sierra Charlie. That stands for, the first letter is bat and the last one is crazy. So anyway, and I have been accused of that in those exact words. So anyway, the point is that, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You know, the best, and Jersey's faced with that. Her whole family, you know, she was going to buy a 1 acre land, and they raved about it, screamed about it, yelled about it, gave her no amount of, just no end of rash of shit, and so that's just the way it is. The best you can do is do what you can to get ready. Look out for other people that are like-minded. At this point in time, I would be very, very, very careful. I never paid any attention to that. We did what we wanted to do. We did what we felt like doing. We don't really care, didn't really care, and I still really don't care who is watching or listening, because they are watching and they are listening. But as far as people around you, that's a different story. Government, they're going to know everything you do. I mean, everything's tracked. I wouldn't even bother worrying about it. I wouldn't be overtly stupid, but some of your most likely problems are going to be people they know you're prepping, and you're going to be the first place they hit. They've seen you lug the food in. You've talked about it. You shot your mouth off. They come over. They visit you. You're dead. They got your food. Okay. So, and I'm talking about in the cities now. Out here, we got a family herd of a couple of 100 cows. I mean, there's generally out in the country around in the nation, there's generally more. In a lot of cases, there is more four-legged critters than there are two-legged critters. Okay, but those are income from people. I mean, obviously, the market here is going to cities to feed the people in the cities. Well, the people in the cities don't have any food, so shit hits the fan. The food's here. They're there. They're not here. There will be more food here than other places to start off with. So I'm on the subject of not of food, and I don't want to get into that right now because if I have time, I'm going to do another video. So, Scott. Okay, now as far as your question that, I know I sound sometimes very extreme. I don't think I've ever said anything like the people who are not already there are doomed. I do say this: if you have Plan A, most people are just living day to day. They're just doing what they're doing. You start prepping. You got chickens. You got a garden. That's great. That's good experience. The thing is, you can bring chickens with you. You can bring seeds with you if and when you decide to bug out. My point is this: is if you have a Plan A, which is meaning a contingency plan for when the shit hits the fan. I hope your Plan A is not stay where you're at and deal with the raving hordes and the drug dealers and the biker gangs and the paramilitary groups and all the zombies in the big city. So let's say that's not Plan A. Let's say you have a Plan A, and Plan A is get the hell out of the city and get out into the country. At least, no matter where you're at in the country, you're going to be better off out in the country than in the city. Okay? Now, there are going to be checkpoints. There are going to be, at some point in time, there's going to be checkpoints, and there's going to be military patrols and all other kinds of things that you would not be faced with now. That's the big point. So I don't believe I've ever said everybody's going to be dead, but it's going to be far, far more difficult. If you were here and you just show up with your stuff, you can start, like you said, you picked up at least on that. Start learning, because one of the things I said in my poem was, we'll learn to grow a garden. In our New Borders Hold, there's a line in there that goes something on the order of, it takes time to learn the ropes, be trusted. It takes time to learn things, to be trusted, and to learn the ropes. We'll learn to grow a garden. We need to, something if we're to live our hopes. Roots, meat on the hoof, crops in the ground. We need to have food here. We need to know things. You need to know where to buy things. You need to know who you can trust. It would behoove anybody to come out sooner than later. That's all I'm saying there. So if you have a Plan A and your Plan A is to get out and go somewhere else, do you have somewhere to go? Pick a town. Pick any little town in the United States. If you're 500 miles from here, you should be able to drive half of that pretty easily unless there's major problems, okay? So pick a little town, a third of the way, a half way, wherever you think you can reasonably get to in an emergency situation, not given today's situation. Pick it closer, 100 miles. You can walk 100 miles in 5 days. Driving, sure, you can do that in a couple hours. But pick a small town, get a storage unit there, put some stuff there. I mean, do it at night, do it in the afternoon, do it when somebody's not there, whatever, So, and I got numbers for storage units here. I've been collecting them. It's on my phone. I can't look them up right now. I didn't think of that. But that's one idea. Halfway, whatever. So if you're 1,000 miles away, have a couple or three of those. That's just an idea. Relatives, stash some stuff at their house. We showed up one time, me and a friend, at like 1 o'clock in the morning at my cousin's farm out on the plains, and said, hey, we need to start. We were seriously worried about, getting hit by certain powers that be, and we stashed a boatload of ammunition there. So, and other things. So, we did later go back and get them. So relatives, farms, aunt somewhere, that's on your way. All I'm saying that is to get back to the major point there is that if you have number one contingency plan plan A, and that you actually have one, you have a place to go, that's great. And if it doesn't work out, let's say it's in Ohio, Uncle Joe lives in Ohio, or Aunt Beatrice is in Indiana, or they're on the Cumberland Plateau, or they're in Tennessee or Kentucky, or wherever it is that they're out in the country, that's better than if you live in the city, you got someplace to go. That's plan A. Let's say it don't work out. I'm just saying head for the OzArk Plateau. Now, I do believe that push is going to come to shove, and we're going to see a lot of changes, both earth changes. If it ain't obvious to you that you don't want to be living on the coast by now, I can't help you. I would not be living on any coast anywhere in this country. Period. End of story. I kind of have the feeling the East Coast is going to get hammered first. So, but anyway, my point is that plan B, head to the OzArk Plateau. If you got plan A and plan B, and plan A don't work out and plan B don't work out, and you're riding bicycles or you're walking, head to the OzArk Plateau. Anybody can walk here. The Mormons, the Handcart companies walked almost 1,300 miles. It is only 500 miles. Let's see, this is west, okay? It's from the Rockies to the OzArk Plateau is 500 miles. From the Appalachians to the OzArk Plateau is 500 miles. From Mexico to the OzArk Plateau is 500 miles. From Canada is 500 miles. I am not, how do you say this? I don't think it takes a very intelligent person to realize or to think or to see that that's not a coincidence. I have these GWACs, G-W-A-A-C. Gee, what an amazing coincidence. Gee, what an amazing coincidence, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, that the OzArk Plateau is from the tip over here, from the nearest tip to the Rockies is 500 miles, and from this tip to the Appalachians is 500 miles, and from this tip to Mexico is 500 miles, and from this tip to Canada is 500 miles. Just a coincidence. Yeah, move along. Nothing to see here. No big deal. Okay, I'm getting a little excited because, it's like this is so blazing, incredibly obvious. Now, was there something said to the person God relayed his message to that indicated that if I was not already in the Ozarks when his plan unfolds, then all is lost? I don't think I ever said that. I don't think I ever would say that. I do maybe come across like that, intimate that, whatever, suggest that, imply that. I do believe that now coming down to, but the point, what you're saying here is that if I was not already in the Ozarks when his plan unfolds, his plan unfolding is part of a hell of a lot of people getting here to the Ozarks. And I believe that out of, let's say it ends up being 40 million people. Okay, I figure there's 10 million already here. 40 million more people from all over the United States. That would be 50 million. That's 10% of the United States population. In my estimation, I think the population is about 500 million. A lot of reasons for that. And I'm not counting the 900 million illegal aliens. I'm counting just the people that have been born here, because there is a massive amount of people that have been born here that they don't know about. Okay, so enough said on that. Home birthers and etc. My ex-wife was a midwife, and she birthed a bunch of people in Colorado out on the plains, and these are farmers, and they're like, I've done cattle, and I've helped sheep, and I've helped goats, and I've helped calves, and I've helped dogs, and heck, the difference between that and a woman, none. But when they got more well-to-do, and about their 10th or 11th or 12th or 13th child, they were like, hey, let's splurge and have a midwife. Okay, so there's a bunch of families around this country that have 10 or 15 kids, and nobody, they're not in the basic census roll. They might be, but anyway, there's a bunch of people in the United States. So my point is this, that at some point in time, out of 40 million refugees, Maybe 10 million of them drive here. Maybe 2 million of them drive here. The rest are going to walk. Mountain bikes, I don't think so. Some people have them. Very few people do. It's going to be foot traffic. Handcarts. Get a wheelbarrow. Get a good burly bicycle. Watch out for those. Anything with two wheels. A big cart with two wheels. There is a guy, The Long Journey, something like that. Chris somebody. Look him up on YouTube. He should be pretty easy to find. Walked all the way across China. Walked. Now, then he walked all the way across Russia. And when he started doing that, he had a little cart. And it was just like a garden cart. You know, it had very similar to what the Mormons did. So you look at the carts that the Mormons built, they had actual wagon wheels. Something with two wheels, two good bicycle wheels. You can carry a heck of a lot of weight on one of them. Somebody should be building those. Monte Judah, a Messianic guy, leader, he has given orders to all of his followers to have those carts, and he tells them what to supply. Pastor Joe Fox is the one that told me about this. Shout out to Pastor Joe. Hi, Joe. I'm on YouTube because of you. Thank you. But he was bemoaning the fact that what Monty's telling him to put in the car is a bunch of junk. So I would definitely say that. I would like people to have the capability of walking here. I wrote an article some years ago, 20 things you're going to need when the economy crashes or the next depression. I think it has depression in the title. 20 items. The first one is good boots. If you don't got good shoes, forget it. You know, you got to be able to walk. You need good boots, good shoes, or something that'll last 500 miles. So get a pair and have a spare pair. Have a pair of tenny runners. Good tenny runners. Okay, so in 1994, I got to tell you this. 1994, I might have said this before, but it'll be new to some of you people. A young man came to speak at one of our meetings in Denver. He was supposedly renegade NSA, national security, high tech. He said some things that really rang true. He said one was that whatever you think is the latest, most up-to-date, highest tech, super coolest stuff you've ever seen, we are 15 years ahead of that at least. Okay, they have robots, they have drones, they have things you can't believe. They got mosquito-sized drones that come in, fly into your ear, and go out, and you won't even never know they're there. There's a lot of bizarre stuff. There's robots. I don't even want to go into it. I never thought, Star Wars, Terminator. Who would have thought we would be facing all of that crap? Killer robots and stuff. So they're making them. So point is that this guy said, the day will come, quote unquote, the day will come when there will be entire convoys of people heading, and he didn't specifically say to the OzArk Plateau, but that's kind of a given. Just tag along, semis full of stuff. There will be, and I'm just saying, there will be convoys of semis stopping in small towns that have been abandoned and stripping every last nut, bolt, movable thing, tool, weapon, stashes, whatever, the whole thing. Fuel, the whole 9 yards. But what I'm really looking at down the road, and I know this is, at this point, it's not so far down the road. When I started seeing this back in 1993, I was a little bit ahead of the time, a little bit ahead of the curve, whatever you want to say. From the get-go, from decades ago, from 1980, I have been seeing eventually an invasion of this this land that was never been invaded. Nobody thinks it can happen. We're a bunch of idiots. If you think that, you're a fool, a flat-out fool. We will be invaded. We have pissed off every nation in the world, and we will be invaded from both borders and both coasts. Period. End of story. No question. And when that happens, guess where everybody's going to go? They're going to go inland. Now, at some point in the future, they won't have as far to go inland because there will be less land, less coast to go from. right up to the Appalachians, that's going to be about the shore, probably. By the time all is said and done, and all this rising ocean level and blah, 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 you want to say it's due to global warming, yeah, well, whatever. If you want to say they're using HARP to melt everything, yeah, that might be more accurate. West Coast could be at the Rockies, okay? Those pieces of land east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, and east of the Appalachians are not on the CRATON. The CRATON is the core of this continental United States. It can't sink, and it ain't going anywhere. It is the largest rock on this earth, flat earth. I used to say planet. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's never was, never will be a planet. You need planets to grow, to have ETs. There are no ETs. They're fallen angels, Nephilim. So deal with it. Fact of life. So, all right, where are we at there? 20. So that's my point. At some point in time, things are going to get worse. They're going to get worse and worse and worse. I'm thinking, and hey, maybe come September 23rd, we're going to get raptured out of here. I don't know. Maybe certain people will be raptured. It does talk about in Revelation 12, the child was harpazo, raptured, taken to the throne, to heaven, to the throne of God. So, who that is, what that is, don't know. Not going to hold my breath, but I do believe that that day is going to be a very, 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 very important day. And as a matter of fact, it is going to be. For me, because I'm going to might as well just make an announcement here for people that care, and a lot of people don't care, and a lot of people are not going to be invited, but there's going to be, that whole thing of, I had a friend that once said, he said, Jerry, Dwayne Hanson, he said, Jerry, do you have any idea how much of the Old Testament, how much of the New Testament is looking forward to and symbolizing and prophetic and announcing and sending out invitations for one event, the wedding feast of the Lamb? Wow, that's heavy. How much of it? Go back and read. All the feasts, what are they indicative of? The Lamb and the Tabernacles, the wedding feast. And there's a lot of people getting married according to biblical strictures there in the wedding feast. Tabernacles being that celebration. So something's going to happen. But I will say this, in my life, something's going to happen on September 23rd. And for those of you who care, for those of you who are, how you say this, many are called, but few are chosen. There's going to be a wedding here where I'm at on September 23rd. And there's not going to be very many. Many are called, but they're not going to come anyway, so I probably won't let them know. But anyway, I'm getting married. Jersey and I are going to get married. This is an announcement. So we are going to formally establish and begin a rescue operation, Ephraim's Rescue. She is, shall we say, she's different. She's totally different from me. So the day of me just helping people for the hell of it, or because I think it's the right thing to do, or just to help them, just because I do know that someday, and I don't feel bad about it, but it has not been right, and she is just extremely irritated at the people who have not done anything to help me out afterwards. I mean, they just turn their back on me and just like, oh, well, gee, thanks for helping me. There's people that have not given me a freaking nickel for what I've done. And there's way too many of those. And so, anyway, those days are at an end. People, y'all need to get serious about this. You need to get serious about helping this operation. You need to get serious about investing time, your time, and your money into getting ready. And part of that is just, I'm willing to help anybody with information, advise them. I've been doing it for 17 years. I'm not going to stop doing that. But we need to stay in better contact. There's things you need to get radio-wise, sanitation-wise, food-wise, protection-wise. And that needs to be done on a more personal level, private level. And so, the Patreon thing, $1 a month, $2 a month, $10 a month, whatever, that needs to happen. It will happen. We're going to get that established. We need vehicles. We can't help people without vehicles. The thing that I do not understand, and the reason is, basically, I need to start a church or something, a national church, because we're going to have a building. We're going to have meetings. We're going to have a congregation. We're going to have teaching. Okay, that is all going to happen. Okay, that's the basically long and the short of it. It takes money to do all those things. So here's the thing that the Mormons had an organization. It was a church. They had their prophets and everything, and Brigham Young and all that. But my point is this: is that the people that were in Salt Lake, see, they're out west, so they're out here. Okay, here's Salt Lake. And here's Europe way over there. Well, these immigrants came over. They're broke. They're poor. They spent all their money just to get over here on passage. They could not buy a Conestoga wagon, a prairie schooner, and the oxen and whatever to get over here to Salt Lake. So they walked. Brigham Young thought outside the box. He said they can walk. Okay, 1,300 miles. They can walk. All they need is a little handcart and 17 pounds of supplies. Well, that cost about 200 or 300 people their lives. But that's only because they left too late in the year. Okay, so Levi Savage said this. He said, "Dear brothers and sisters, do not make this decision to leave so late." He said, "Wait until spring. There is no way that you will make it." He says, "But if you decide to go, I will go with you. I will help you. I will walk beside you. I will work with you, work beside you, and if need be, I will die beside you." And he did survive. But a lot of them did die, a couple, 300. So, okay, Ephraim's rescue. We need money to do it. My point is that the people back out west, sent money, funded these people. It was a continuous migration. There were 10 of those companies that made it. When they got out here to the west, they established a stewardship, a business. They made money. They sent it back to bring somebody else or to pay back the people that, paid back these people, and then probably even worked and sent money to help some of the later cart companies, so handcart companies. So phenomenal story. What is wrong with the picture of just, okay, tithing was to support the Levites, to support widows, orphans, and strangers. What in the hell do you think I'm doing? I had some SOB sit here in this trailer right where I'm sitting right here now, and I said, so you don't want to help me? You don't want to help pay for the trailer? You said you were gonna, but okay, whatever. How about you tithe? Oh my God! Do you know what the tithe is? I didn't even address it. If this guy was that stupid, I said I didn't say anything. I was like, okay, whatever. Tithe is for widows, and he said this later: widows, orphans, strangers in Israel, and Levites. Okay, hello. How about I'm a Levite? Help me out. You're breaking Torah. If you're not helping an operation like this, you are breaking Torah.